Hey art nerds, I am back with another figure drawing prompt. Today's prompt was he woke screaming from a terrible nightmare. And you can find a link to artprompts.org down in the description below. So at first I wasn't really feeling this idea on a personal level, and then the kidlit artist in me was like, why don't you make it a little boy having a nightmare? Very obvious, very surface level. That's okay with me. So I start with a basic sketch, just kind of getting the concept onto paper. I have a really clear idea of what I want the kid's face to look like, but not necessarily a clear idea for the rest. And for a prompt like this, you do need to show at least some environment. You do need some storytelling. So I decide I'm going to give this kid a race car bed because obviously race car beds are the best. And I totally would sleep in a race car bed now if they made them in my size, but they don't. My feet will hang off the edge. So I start by sketching a basic rectangle for the race car bed, and then I start adding details and softening curves. And that kind of just ties in with my basic philosophy of drawing, is that everything can be made up of very basic shapes and then refined. So I'm just sort of feeling the idea, thinking about the concept, but there's some things about this I don't really like. I don't necessarily like his placement that much. I don't necessarily like the size of the bed. So, and then I start sketching in his arms. I want him clutching the sheets in terror. I don't really like how loose I draw those arms. I do like that they're bunched up around his head, like he's all hunched up. He's very scared, he's all tight, but I don't like how kind of loose those arms feel. And I start tightening his face up as well. I give him little bags under the eyes since this woke him up in the middle of a nightmare. But you know, not really feeling it, so I decide to slap on a piece of tracing paper. So that is my base sketch, and then I tape a piece of tracing paper on top of it. So with these sort of tracing paper sketches, I refine what I like and I discard what wasn't working. And what's really nice about tracing paper is that once you finish drawing on it, you can't see the base sketch too well, but while you're sketching, it's all there for you. And you can always remove the tracing paper, but I like keeping it in my sketchbook. I feel like the base sketch and then the refined sketch tell a story on their own, even if it's just a story of process. So I'd really liked his face, decided to keep his face. I decided to give him a smaller neck. So he's got this big bulbous head and these little jug ears, and then he's got these really skinny little kid arms. And often when I'm drawing little kids, I'm channeling Naoki Urasawa in 20th Century Boys. There's just something about how he draws the scrawny kids in that series that just really feels genuine. So I'm often channeling Naoki Urasawa when I'm drawing kids. Definitely liked him clutching the sheets, so I keep that. And I loved the race car bed idea, so I am maintaining that, making it a little bit larger. I know those little race car beds tend to be kind of small, even for little kiddos. So we don't have to go huge, and if we go huge, that creates a different feeling as well. I mean, if we'd given him like an adult-sized bed, then he's just this little guy kind of lost in a bed way too big for him. Maybe he's trapped in a role he's not quite ready for. Maybe he's got a new little sister or brother on the way, and he's not ready to give up being the baby. But the kind of environment aspects you include changes the kind of story you're telling. So he's, in my little story here, he's still just a little guy sleeping in his little race car bed. He's supposed to feel safe and cozy, but he doesn't. And there's something really disconcerting about being scared in an environment that has traditionally been very safe for you. It kind of implies there is no safe place where you can turn. So I wanted to keep the details on the race car bed simple, but I wanted it to still be discernible as a race car bed. So I sketch in the wheels, but I don't add a lot of detail to the body. And this was something I had to Google. I did Google race car bed so that I could kind of convey it accurately. And then I kind of sketch in some environmental lighting. I really like the idea of the door is open a crack, like something is peering in. And if I'd refine this a little further, I might even draw a shadow, like a big, scary shadow crossing over him, like the nightmare isn't quite over. But that could even work for, like if we were doing this as a comic, that could even work for the next beat, the next panel of the comic. Like, okay, he takes a deep breath, oh, I'm in my bed, I'm safe, and then the big, scary shadow looms over him. But I decided to have the dark shadow frame his head so he kind of pops out a little bit more, and I gave him light colored sheets so that his pajamas would kind of stick out as well. Now I should have made the sheets even more disheveled. If I were to give this another pass, that is something I would do, just to show that he's kind of been tossing and turning in bed, having nightmares, maybe all night. Then I decide to sketch in his teddy bear, and it's not tucked in with him. It's like it's been tossed aside, so it can no longer provide the protection that a teddy bear provides. I probably should have thrown it on the floor right in front of the bed. That would have implied being kind of abandoned even more. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys had a good time enjoying this character prompt, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Bye guys!